1, 2, 3.
The Bible in the New Testament, Matthew chapter 6 verse 19 and 20 says this. It's Jesus speaking on the famous Sermon on the Mount, and he says, "Don't lay up for yourselves treasures on earth where moth and rust can destroy and thieves can break in and steal, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven where moth and rust do not destroy and thieves cannot break in and steal." Because of course there's no thieves in heaven, is there? No unrepentant ones anyway. So that verse, it's talking about treasures, and there's many people who are trying to get as much treasure as they can here on earth, trying to build as big an empire as they can with as much money as they can and getting as big a house as they can. And you know, this is a difficulty. This is something that we need to be careful of, because there's lots of dangers with riches. Now I'm going to talk about very briefly, three dangers with riches. The first one is that it's an obstacle. Riches are an obstacle to the Lord. If you have got lots of riches, then the Bible says it's very difficult for you to enter into heaven. And I'm going to move on because it's salty by dogs drying themselves out of me. But yeah, it's very difficult. Why? Well, I'm not exactly sure why, but I think it takes your eyes away from what's really important, and you become distorted about what's really important, and you start to think about the world being more important than heaven, and as a result you tend to find that people who've got that focus on the earth and the riches and the pleasures of the earth tend to neglect spiritual things, tend to neglect the next life that's coming, and tend to neglect the people around them. They become too self-focused and looking after their own interests. So there's an obstruction there. I think the other reason is, the second reason is, it doesn't satisfy. The danger of riches is it does not satisfy. You always want more and more and more. You always want a bigger house, a larger bank balance. And you know, look at David Beckham, for example. Is David Beckham happy in his big massive houses around the world? I think if you asked anybody who's really rich, I think you'd find that they're not, because they thought it would be. They thought it would bring them happiness and satisfaction, but then when they've got those riches, it's not done. So what's the answer? They go out and get more and more. And the third reason is based on that second verse 20, which talks about the fact that thieves can come and break in and steal, and it's that element that is a problem to people with great riches, because they think they're always panicking about somebody stealing it, or there's been a loss of earnings in some way through bad financial investment. So there's that worry that it's going to be lost. You know, again, I'd take you back to some of the celebrities of this world and say, do you think that they're happy? Do you think that they're secure? And they're not. You only have to look at the gates that they put around the houses, and the security cameras and the fences and the security guards, and they're desperately trying to protect themselves and their riches because they're fearful that it'll be lost, that it'll go to waste. So I'd say to you, bear in mind those three things when you contemplate the danger of riches. Where does the Bible say we should store up riches? It says we should store up riches in heaven. And how can we do that? Well, by giving our riches away, by looking after the poor and needy amongst us, by doing God's work in this world, by speaking His words to people, words that bring healing, words that bring salvation. That's how you can store up treasures in heaven. But you know, that passage goes on to say one more thing. In verse 21, it says, "For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also." And you can see it in people. you can see what their focus is in this world. You can see where their heart is at. And if their heart is aimed at storing up as much and accumulating as much for themselves as possible, you know, that's their desire, that's their devotion. You can see it, and it's sad. But we should be a people who desire after God, whose heart is after God, whose treasure is Him. You know, you are the richest person in the world if you have Him in your life. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. I pray that God would be your treasure. He would be your desire. He would be your delight. And He is. He's amazing. But you have to enter into that relationship with Him and be doing what He wants to experience that. So blessings. Enjoy the sunny day. And if you like these short thoughts for the day, please do subscribe and like and share. It really helps us get that message across at Walking with God, so we can encourage more and more people to be what the Lord wants them to be. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching.